Welcome to the Brie Pod. I'm here with me, Brie. The last time we spoke, it was about my endometriosis journey. And then we talked about my exes and all the lovely roller coaster ride that was. But something that I was alluding to that I think is perfect for this Unfiltered series is that, hi, my name is Brie, and I have an eating disorder. Some of you may not be shocked by this. Actually, many of you told me in my lifetime that, or made jokes and said, "Oh, what are you, anorexic? Are you bulimic?" Um, I've always been between probably the weight of 90 pounds to 115, 117 being the highest, maybe 118. This um, disorder, I guess, started long, long, long ago, but I did not know that I had an eating disorder. And I'm still technically suffering and healing right now. I was afraid to talk about it because it feels like a weakness. Um, and everybody has their opinions on, why I would have it. But I think it's important that I tell you why this happened. And, I'm working on it every day. I have a nutritionist now. I am in therapy, which that's important because a lot of eating disorders are mindset based. Um, and one of the things I want to share too is basically, I've been told, how can you feel the way that you do? You're skinny. You're perfect. Um, you shouldn't feel bad about your weight. Like you should feel bad about mine or stuff like that. And the thing is, for me, I truly am about loving all body types, loving people with both spectrum of the eating disorder. Because at the end of the day, whether you eat more or you eat less, we're on the same spectrum, just different ways of coping. Um, I used to be told that I could never be bullied because I'm skinny, but it's not true. You do get bullied. Uh, and I'm not saying it's worse or less. It's just, it is what it is. You get bullied on all spectrums of eating disorders. Um, but to go back, there was a time that I used to work um, in a certain place for the summer. And I used to work with this girl. We actually started off on very good note. I loved her. I still love the person that she is. I just think that we had a falling out because of the unfortunate misconception of each other. Um, but a long time ago, when we were working together, I would be eating, like, let's say, a bag of Doritos, and she would be like, "Why are you eating that? That's bad for you." You know, or this happens to me all the time, actually, not just from this girl, but there will be people that I'll be either eating dinner with or lunch with or breakfast with. And by the end of the day of hanging out with them, it's not everybody, but it's definitely happened more than a few times. They will tell me exactly what I ate, how much I ate, almost to the point of how many bites I took. Now, for those of you that, you know, don't understand this, nobody, I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on, nobody wants to be told what they're eating or what they're not eating. Um, and I know that, there are ways that we need to learn about, like, how to address these things, but the worst way to try to address someone in their eating disorder is asking them blatantly, are you anorexic? Are you bulimic? You know, why did you eat this? Why did you eat that? Because mentally it starts to come into your mind. Like it started to become my voice in my head. I would go into, like with that girl, I would go back to a bag of Doritos. I'd try to eat it. And then I'd be like, why are you eating that? So this is kind of how it all started. It's not the exact point, but this is how I started limiting what I was eating. Because before, when you know, I would think, well, they'd be like, are you anorexic? Like, well, no, I couldn't be anorexic because I actually do eat, but it was the portion size. I was like mentally telling myself, oh, you can only have 2 chips or whatever it was that I was eating. So then, um, when I got to this summer, it became, I'm not saying that, I'm not blaming this girl. It wasn't fully this girl. There was definitely a lot of comments that have been made throughout my life. Throughout school, like I said, everybody was saying, are you anorexic? Are you bulimic? So I'm not saying she is the cause. I'm just saying this is where it got a bit deeper. Because then I would go out to lunch and I'd be like, well, I can't eat a whole sandwich because that's unhealthy. So I'll eat a half of a sandwich. And this is how I started portioning myself. So in my mind, from high school to college to up till recently, I've told myself, oh, I'm just, I'm not eating. I'm eating at least a meal. So the other part of this is that I have had many people, and I know I'm not alone in this because I've talked to some people about this, but I will not say their names, out of respect. But like, I've had many people be like, oh, you should just eat a cheeseburger. You should just eat this or that that'll fatten you up. And I appreciate it. I know it comes from a good place. I've been hugged and told how frail I am. And I know that people telling me this, they mean it with love. Like it sounds kind of weird, but like they really do. They want you to be healthy. They want you to be um just feeling good. But it's hard because when I'm told these things, they just become the voice in my head and saying, well, you're not I have it from both sides because I'll have my one side being like, you're not eating enough. And then the other side, like, well, you're eating too much. Um, I wanted to share this because eating disorders on all spectrums can be a very big struggle. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there fully is a cure because I'm not there. I don't know. But I do know that it takes a lot of effort and work in training, like retraining my thoughts, retraining um, what I thought, you know, was okay to say to myself or what wasn't okay to say to myself. And I know for a lot of you that know me, you're like, well, how did you not know that you had an eating disorder? And like I said, I mentally told myself I didn't. I mentally told myself I was eating. Um, and I didn't want to admit something like that because it felt wrong, felt dirty. Um, and I didn't want people to be right. I mean, when it's something like this, it's serious. It affects your health. I mean, I'm probably low in vitamin D, low in iron, low in all of these things. And it probably does have a a place of why pregnancy is not happening. And it's unfortunate that it's taken me this long to recognize this, but at the same time, I'm glad that I am. recognizing it and I am addressing it. I am not a perfect person. I will never say that I am. Um, I have learned that body dysmorphia is probably a side thing that I have as well because I know that I'll look at myself in the mirror and I will not be nice to myself. And you're probably like, what the heck? But I don't know. I don't, it's like a mixture of my environment, of like our society being like, oh, you've got to be this, you've got to be that. And now it's just getting really unrealistic. I mean, now it's like you've got to have exactly the perfect hourglass plastic body. And I don't know if that is really what I want. Um, so I share this because this is me. This is me raw, unfiltered. Um, I I didn't know how I was going to talk about it, but I need you to know that if you are in this position with me, it does not matter what spectrum you're on, because at the end of the day, we have the same problem. I shouldn't say problem. We have the same struggle, different way of going about that struggle. We don't feel worthy. We don't feel good enough. We're listening to the negativity that we've been told or that we have told ourselves. Um, we were picked on. I mean, I know I know for some it's hard to see it like that, but it's true. When you're on the spectrum, if you're on the spectrum at all, you're getting bullied. You're getting told what you didn't eat or what you did eat. And then you're mentally taking that in and you're going home at night and you're either eating your feelings, throwing up your feelings, not eating at all, or restricting. You know what I mean? So it's it's a very intense struggle. And I share this because, we're coming into summer. We're coming, well, I guess we're in summer, but we're coming into those months where, our society has us like, oh, you got to be a perfect size. And, you know, I mean, look at how they degrade. Like, it sounds horrible, but like when I was getting told these things, I almost feel like it's better off that it's in a smaller area versus like if you were like a celebrity and they were on your butt every single day. She's too fat, she's too thin, she's too much, she's too this, she's too that. Why are we so unrealistic? Why are we so like, why is it the first thing that we do is to judge and to just strictly be like, well, she's that? Because, deep down inside, it's something deeper. For me, I know there's a lot of things that come into play, but the biggest thing is I talked about when I was stalked, how I stopped eating. When I am scared, when I am worried, when I feel threatened, like I did, um, I don't eat. I'm actually disturbing with how I go about it because I restrict myself. I restrict myself from eating as a tool. Like, you don't deserve this food. You don't deserve this feeling of feeling good. That's what I did when I was with the first sex. It's like, you don't deserve this. I like to punch myself. And I know I'm not alone in this. And I know on the other side of the spectrum, it's the same thought. It's just a different way of going about it. And sharing this is very vulnerable. Um, but I needed to because I need you to know that you are not alone. No matter what side of the spectrum you're on, we're technically all in this together, whether you either believe it or don't. Um, and if you have not struggled with this and you're listening, it's deeper than just eating a cheeseburger and that'll be fine. It's deeper than that. It's it's an emotional thing. It's a mindset thing. Um, there's a lot that contributed to it. It's either by what people have said. It's either how we, how we tell ourselves how we should feel in very, traumatic situations or not traumatic. Like it could be, well, really, it is kind of, it's more of like that when something goes bad, like I mean, the spectrum on the trauma or whatever it is that's backing it could just be in general being anxious. You got into a fight with someone, you're anxious or whatever, or feelings. I mean, a lot of us don't even like to feel. Feeling sucks, right? That's why a lot of people turn to some form of an aid. For others, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be gambling. For me, it's restricting myself from food, right? It's like that. And so the struggle I feel needed to be shared, um, because if you're in this position, if you're hurting, if something has happened and you feel alone, please please reach out. Um, go to somebody that you trust. I think what motivated me to get help was, first off, I had to recognize I had a problem, which in the beginning I honestly didn't, because I thought I'm eating. So that's enough, right? Well, that's not necessarily the case, because I was portioning myself down to like half a sandwich, chips, maybe like three of them, whatever. That's how we have like the comfort foods, like the and like it's just these things that like happen. So going forward, I think if you are struggling, does not matter what end of the spectrum you're on, please ask for help. Please go out there, because by doing what I have been doing, am hurting my body. I am not getting enough uh, nutrition. I am not helping my body survive. If anything, I'm depleting my body at a young age by doing this. Um, I have to learn how to love myself. And I don't mean necessarily the physical, I mean the inner, because that's where it starts. There's many people that have either lost significant amount of weight or have gained the weight that they need, but yet they still don't feel good. And it's because it is so internal. It's, what are you saying to yourself? Are you saying nasty things when you go to the mirror? Are you avoiding the mirror? Are you listening to comments that were said by people that are super ignorant, and don't understand something deeper probably happened? Um, these are the things to really think on. And the best advice I can give is that you want to get help, because it hurts your health by ignoring it. It hurts yourself internally by ignoring it. Um, but it's so important to get someone that you trust, because if you don't trust them, you're not going to change anything. Um, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that when you make this decision that all of a sudden it's going to be amazing and you'll never worry about your body issues again. No, it's like healing. It isn't linear. It's going to be an uphill. You're going to be going high and then you're going to go low. And then you go high and then you're going to go low. But even if you join a support group, I mean, that could be beneficial. I wanted to share this quick, beautiful story that happened recently before I let you go. Um, my friend, I'm going to give her a shout out, Noelle. Noelle and her wife, we were all having this conversation because we have this thing we're working on. We'll be sharing this later when we're ready to, but we're not there yet. But we had this thing that we were working on, and we needed a name. So, um, we're searching. They're searching. They were going to like the bookstores. I was searching online, and Noelle's wife, Kristen, picks out this book. Um, and I can't share it right now because we we have the group that we're making, but we'll later again we'll come out with that. But she picks out this book, and what is so insane, like I didn't even know this yet because it's this beautiful book. It's the perfect title that we need for what we're doing. It screams everything that we wanted to do with it, and um, she like she tells me where they got it from. So I look online. I'm like, can I get it at a store near me? Do I need to order online? I find I need to order it online. So I do. She doesn't. Now, it's funny because I looked this book up. I'm looking at the artwork. I'm loving the name, but I don't exactly read the back of it or the introduction. So I don't know why. I just didn't. Well, I ordered this book. Couple weeks later, it shows up. And Noelle kept this a secret this whole time, which I really appreciate because it was a shock. So, anyway, I get this book, I start reading it. It's about this woman who was trying to have kids, but unfortunately had a miscarriage, ends up getting divorced, um, has like this eating disorder, and she puts her feelings and drawings into this book from all of that. I read this, like the back of the book, because I was about to read it, and I bawled my eyes out because I felt like it was such a gift from two angels in Florida. Shout out to you girls. um, that like it just turned full circle. Everything came in for full circle, and I was so appreciative and thankful for that. And I just wanted to say thank you so much because I will share this book after we get our stuff going. And I'm sure by the time either this episode comes out or soon, we'll be able to give a little more information. But it's just probably the sweetest, most beautiful gifts that could happen for me. And I needed it, and I cried because it hit home. And I love to draw, so it was all creative. It's what I'm struggling with. It's what I've been going through. Um, I've been afraid to share full blown on this podcast because I wasn't sure how it would be received. But at the same time, I'm telling you all that I want to be raw and genuine. So it's like if I'm going to be raw and genuine, I need to share this. And so, do I have the answers on how to cure it? No. I don't know if there is a cure per se. Do I have the answers of coping with it? Not necessarily, because I just got this nutritionist like a week ago. Actually, a little bit longer than that, but basically, because we went on holiday right after I joined. Um, so, with this struggle, with this journey, with infertility, I'm going to keep you on this path. Do I think that I have a part in infertility? Absolutely. I know I do. That's why I'm in therapy. That's why I am going to a nutritionist. But I also have to remember that it can't just be for my future children. It has to be for me too. I can't live a life of constant hatred toward myself or, punishing myself. Um, and I've done that. Uh, I just didn't think that I was on the same. I was like, no, it's not me. I don't do that. But I restrict. So long-winded. But like I said, if you're going through this, I shouldn't say suggest because that's not fair of me to say, but I send you love. I send you support. I see you. Even if you don't want to admit it, I see you. I'm going to put resources into my bio for you to find help if you need it. I appreciate all of you that follow me and have been on this ride with me. It's definitely healing is one hell of a journey. It's not for the weak. Not saying that you're weak though, but just saying it's definitely not something that you're just like, today I'm gonna heal. It doesn't go as planned. Um, but the biggest, I think, out of all the affirmations that I could give you that would resonate with all of us is that you are seen, you are heard, you are worthy, and no one, not even you, can take away the frickin' beauty you have inside and out. So, with that, you are loved, you are worthy, you are cherished, and I am proud of you. Until next time on the Brie Pod.